Hi there, welcome back. I'm Brianna. Today is the second episode of my Diary of a Detox, and thank you so much for joining me. If you did not see my first episode, you can find that here on YouTube. But to fill you in a little bit, I'm Brianna Thomas. I'm an esthetician or a skincare pro, a professional makeup artist, and creator of a cosmetics line. I have been working with skin for 15 years, and I used to be a former tanning addict, suffer from severe acne, and get tremendously uncomfortable rashes from food sensitivities and internal being out of balance. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a detox that I'm doing. Now, this doesn't really have much to do with skin, but I wanted to share this with you because so very many of the people who come to see me for help with their skin are highly health conscious. Many of them are struggling with breakouts or rapidly seeing the signs of aging, and they feel like they're too old to be breaking out, they're too young to look so old, and they generally feel pretty terrible. Most of them are high achievers, run their own businesses, or have a very predominant role in their companies. There are a lot of moms and parents and people who are just go, 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 go all the time. And many of them are very health conscious, and they feel like they eat well and they work out and they take care of themselves, but they're still feeling really, really run down. I too have been one of those people. So being that this isn't necessarily too skin related, I still find that so very many of the people who I work with are very curious about how to be take better care of themselves and how to optimally function and how not to feel so yucky. So that's what we're talking about this for. And excuse my appearance, I was getting ready for the day and I had to come make my detox drink for the morning, and I thought, what a good time to make a video. So today we have no hair. Lisa's wrapped up in a towel. But thank you very much for joining me. If you are curious about detoxification, internal wellness, healthy recipes, or all things skin and healthy beauty, you can subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell if you want a notification when I post an update. I am feeling better, thank you to this detox, so perhaps I will be posting a little bit more than I have been in years past. So that brings me to where I'm at in the detox. Today is day 18 of my detox. It is day 4 of adding the main detox stuff. So if you can't tell, I am feeling pretty good today. And this is quite miraculous because for quite some time, I have not felt good at all. I have really been struggling with my health. I have really been struggling with my energy. I have really, really been struggling with life because I was feeling so run down. And it's been a few years of feeling mysteriously sick with very few doctors knowing what the heck was wrong with me and kind of saying, oh, they didn't think there was anything. Something was, but they didn't know what. And there was a lot of scary stuff that I, endured and tested, and I'm really, really happy now to have a very clear picture of exactly what is not wrong with me and to know just exactly how healthy I am in so very many ways, but to actually know what was wrong with me. And then to have a plan to fix it. So in a nutshell, I have struggled with, it's called an auto-inflammatory condition. So a condition that apparently I was born with that causes my body to be in a chronic state of inflammation and not really be able to turn it off. So even though I tend to eat very well and do so very much to keep my health optimal, it wasn't very optimized, and so I really wasn't feeling very good. I just recently found out that apparently I have been struggling with a non-contagious, so not contagious, it's not active in my body, a non-contagious virus that apparently my immune system has been trying to fight off and attack for probably years, because it's been years that I've been feeling pretty foul, and that constant attacking, constant fighting, might cause my immune system to start attacking healthy parts of my body too, or started creating some autoimmune reactions or autoimmune conditions, where instead of just seeing the bad guys, the bad viruses as the invader, my immune system saw my own healthy tissues to be as well. So lots of parts of me have been under attack. My stomach, my intestines, apparently my ovaries, my nerves, possibly some stuff going on in my brain. And that's a really scary thing when you're trying to live life, be a normal human, run a business or two, and you feel like your cognitive function is failing, like your limbs aren't working properly, like your speech isn't the best, and that you're basically walking around in the world feeling like you have what is the closest thing I can describe it to as mono all the time. It was a very dark and scary place to be. And I just chalked it up to being a hard worker and a big stressor and not getting enough rest. But through persistence and a lot of research and finding the right help, I finally had the very precise, specific, fine-tuned tests to really learn what was going on with my body. And this is an important lesson for you, because you probably are like, Brianna, I don't really care what's going on with you. And some of you may, some of you don't, because you may or may not know me. But the reason that I share this with you is because I didn't give up. And I see so very many people when it comes to their health, their mental well-being, their businesses, their skin. I see them give up. I see them give up hope. And there have been many times where I've wanted to give up. But I think there is something to be said for having a drive to figure things out and to be your own detective, because no one knows you like you know you. And it's very important to pay attention to how you're doing. And I find a lot of people in life, in a lot of areas of their life, kind of coast through life. And it takes something big to jolt them into realizing, oh yeah, I haven't been feeling so great. Or, oh yeah, my skin hasn't been doing so well. Or, oh yeah, my relationships are totally out of balance and I should probably do something about that. But I think it's really important to be paying attention to little signs along the way, of your body, of your mind, of your life, showing you that something's not right, and to work actively to right those things that aren't so right. And if you feel like you're coming up against a wall, or you feel like you're being met with resistance, or if it's your health, or if it's your skin, or if you're feeling like everyone's just telling you that we don't know what to do, we don't know what's going on, to not give up. I found myself in that place, and I didn't give up. And I did a ton of research, and I said, well, if one doctor's saying this is what may be going on, but this doctor's saying no, well, what could it be? And then I researched, and then I found another doctor, and I found another one, and I did more tests, and I ruled out a lot until I finally got to somebody who was like, oh no, here you go, here it is. And so how I would like for you to learn a little, oh, I just got a notification, learn to function a bit more happily in your life is to take responsibility for yourself. And I know this sounds like a very weird thing to be sharing in a detox video by somebody who focuses on skin, but I see it so often, particularly with people who are struggling with acne or just not feeling well, is they just kind of are like, oh, I guess this is just how I am. Or I've seen every dermatologist, every esthetician, every doctor out there. My gynecologist says my hormones seem fine. I don't feel like they're fine, but they say they probably are. So I guess that's just how it is. And I see so many people give up and just kind of like shrug things off and suffer and struggle with breakouts, just being like, well, I guess this is just how it is, or struggle with headaches or bloating or digestive issues or incredible stress and insomnia and anxiety, and just like, well, I guess this is just me. And while it may be, and while sometimes in life aren't the most ideal times to hack your way to optimal health and whatnot, if you can chip away at it and do little by little by little, as often as you possibly can, and stopping paying attention. So many people just kind of get to a place where they get so busy that they stop paying attention to what's really affecting them in life. And it takes someone like me, when people come to see me for help, to probe and to ask, well, how are you feeling? How are you doing? How are you eating? You know, how are you sleeping? What's going on with your stress? For them to say, oh, I guess not so well. So I think a good lesson that I've learned through all this is regularly checking in with yourself on how you're doing, how you're feeling, how are you covering the basic necessities of life, sleep, proper nutrition, hydration, proper elimination. All of these things are essential. And then really saying, okay, well, am I okay, or is something amiss? And if you wait too long, like I waited too long, I just kept brushing things under the rug. I'll be fine. Oh, it's this. Oh, I just worked too hard. I pushed too hard. I'll be fine soon. But inside, I knew something was wrong. I waited, and my body revolted. And I don't want that for you. I don't want for external signs that something being out of balance to show up and really knock you on your butt hard, because it stinks. It's no fun. So pay attention to what's going on, and be your own detective. If somebody is telling you they don't know, or they don't think there's an answer, don't take that and just be like, oh well, I guess that's it. No, like, don't give up. Just don't give up. And so in my not giving up, this detox was part of the plan. So I wanted to share a little bit about that with you. I gave a little bit of info in the last video. I'm still learning about this, and I'm not certain that I'm going to say, hey world, go do it. But if you do, here's a few tips, and here's a few things to know about. The main reason I'm sharing is because there's very little info. There's only 2 people online talking about it and talking about what could happen to you if you go on it. And I felt like that's not sufficient. So through the process, I'm documenting what's taking place with me. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, it might be interesting to somebody down the road. It is not multi-level. It's not multi-level marketing, and I'm not getting a kickback. The people who make the products don't even know that I'm talking about it. But I will say they were very, very kind and nice, and they spent a good amount of time on the phone with me answering my questions before I got the product. I got it right away. And since I've been taking it, I have been feeling fantastic, which is something, which is a really big deal. Because I, for at least 2 years, have been struggling to get through each day, like really struggling to get through. And yes, there's been exhaustion, and yes, there's been just like this mental, like something isn't right in my brain. I feel like things are slowing down, and misfiring or not linking, and that's a really scary thing. But for me, the biggest challenge was a struggle I was having with my arm, and some days not being able to use it. Now, a lot of people don't realize this because I've not been very visible in the world. I pretty much have just been kind of hiding out at home or in my office, seeing my clients. And I've been very strategic about how I've had to see my clients because I work on bases and I do facials and I use my hands all day, every day that I'm with them. And when I'm not with them, I'm typing or on the phone or doing a lot to help grow my business and finish up my product, my cosmetics line. And so unless I was showering or unless I had my hands physically on a human face, I was in a brace. I've been in a brace for well over a year. And that was mostly because I didn't know what the heck was going on. But apparently that was, part of my body attacking stuff, nerves, joints, and whatnot. But it was causing an extreme amount of pain. It started in my wrist, then it moved up, my arm. And while it wasn't there 100% of the time, it was there for at least 95% of most days for a very long time. And it just kept getting worse. And the pain was extremely excruciating. And there were times when I thought, I'm gonna have to give up my business. I'm not gonna be able to see my clients. I just started putting products onto Amazon so I could get them to do my order fulfillment, because packing boxes was becoming a challenge. Actually, like putting things into boxes and taping up boxes some days was just such a struggle because of the pain. Typing, I was one-handed typing for quite some time because of the pain. And since I have started this. So today is day 18. The first 2 weeks were kind of an ease in with something called gin loba, a ginkgo biloba, something called fafia or suma root, and then something called immunity boost, which is basically just to kind of prep me for the main detox and to help support my liver. So that was the first 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, this Monday, I started the main stuff. But about a couple days into just taking those few things, no more pain. No more pain. No more brace at all. I couldn't even tell you where it is right now. And that thing was never out of sight. I'm not taking anything for pain. It has been miraculous. And excuse me, I'm adjusting. I'm sitting on my knees here. I didn't think I'd be talking this long, but I guess I am. So I'm going to readjust. So no pain. I don't know if these things are supposed to be helping for pain. I know ginkgo biloba is really helpful for brain function, which is awesome. And I actually feel way more sharp, way more energetic. You would never see me at this level right now. You would see for a while, I was very much like, and we're here. And I would turn it on when I would see my clients, but I would be this kind of just hanging in, just kind of walking myself through mentally saying, don't cry, don't cry, don't puke, it'll be okay. You can put your brace back on here in an hour. That was kind of the internal dialogue all the time. And now I'm feeling really good. Not 100%, because at the end of my work days, I'm still pretty worn, but I'm still fighting, working on fighting this infection and then repairing my body from all of the autoimmune damage that's been done. So it's going to take me a little while, but I'd say in less than 20 days, the drastic difference in discomfort I'm having is amazing. Because there was not a 10-minute period in the last at least year where I was not thinking about just how very much pain I was in, or on the verge of tears because of it. So that being said, I'm going to be doing a lot more investigating into what the heck is helping with the discomfort and why, because I'm fascinated by this. I've studied herbs since I was a little kid. I was an interesting little kid. I thought I would be an herbalist or an acupuncturist or a nutritionist or a naturopathic doctor when I was a kid. And so I've always been fascinated by herbs and the healing power of them and how they work as medicine. And I truly feel like this has been one of the best things for pain for me. And since I know a lot of people who struggle with rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, migraines, just kind of feeling lousy, while I can't recommend these for pain specifically or health conditions specifically, because I'm not a doctor, I will say in my instance, for anyone who's experiencing discomfort from those things, or inflammatory conditions or autoinflammatory conditions, it may be worth investigating to see if it helps you. They're not very expensive. Each of these bottles was like 20 something, 30 something, not bad at all. And the doses that I'm taking, so I'm taking the most of the fafia. I have still more than half of a bottle. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So, pain, mental function, energy levels, the whites of my eyes are brighter. That was something that I've been struggling with for a really long time, is extremely bloodshot eyes. People asking me if I've been crying, if I've been drinking, which is really embarrassing. And so the whites of my eyes have been a lot clearer, which is phenomenal. That makes me happy because I'm no longer like going through tons and tons of redness relieving eye drops, which I was, because I didn't want people to think that I was hungover or bawling my eyes out before they came to see me in my office. So those things are really good. As far as other stuff going on that's positive, that's been about it. But that's good. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. Now, as far as what could be perceived as negative, but I don't perceive it as negative, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some things to be aware of that can be expected. So some of the people that have been asking me about this have never detoxed in their life. And so in another video that I'm going to film after this, I'm going to talk to you about like what, like before you like embark on a detox, like what are some things you can do to set yourself up for like just living a healthier life. So you can subscribe if you want to see that video. But when you do detox, there are all sorts of ways you can detox through the types of foods that you eat or don't eat. There are herbs that you can take in pill form, tea form, or tincture form. That's what these are. These are liquid tinctures that are highly concentrated. You can do colon cleanses, parasite cleanses. You can do a number of cleanses and detoxes. So I didn't, with this particular detox, I'm specifically talking about these 4 things. I did not change my diet much, but my diet is extremely healthy. Extremely healthy. I'm filming this in June. In October of last year, I started like the most extensively restricted diet I think I've ever been on, and I've tried them all just out of curiosity and for health benefits. But I was throwing darts. I was like, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. And so something that comes up for a lot of people that I know, a lot of people who struggle with acne, and a lot of my clients end up having this, is something called candida. And it is a systemic fungal overgrowth. And it can give a lot of the signs and symptoms that I was having. I wasn't having the main symptoms of them. A lot of people get like yeast infections if they're a woman, or jock itch if they're a guy, toenail fungus, things like that. I didn't have any of those things, but just the pain, the fatigue, the brain fog, weird random itchies like all over my body, and just a lot of random symptoms. I thought, well, maybe it's this. So I went on a candida detox diet since October until about a month ago, which was very extreme. But I talked to a lot of my clients about how if they're struggling with this, diet is key, because what you fuel yourself with, what you feed and nourish yourself with, matters. And if you're giving yourself fuel that is feeding and causing something that shouldn't be overgrowing in your body to continually overgrow, things like sugar and alcohol and yeast and flours and things that, you know, cause something, a systemic fungal overgrowth to flourish, and you're trying to kill it, or you're just hoping it goes away, you're probably not going to see the best success. So while it isn't easy, every single person I've ever talked to who finds out they have candida and finds out that maybe what's causing their breakouts or their rashes or their ails of all sorts, they're terrified of going on a candida diet, because it's very restricted. It's mostly greens and protein. You don't have starches, you don't really have carbs, you don't have fruit. And so many people just are absolutely like they lose it when they think that this would have to be their life. And well, it doesn't have to be forever. It can be something that can be beneficial. And I tested and I didn't end up having this, but for months and months and months, I didn't know. So I thought, well, it's not going to hurt. And a lot of my symptoms were alleviated just by cutting out everything that doesn't lead to optimal wellness. And so I have been eating lots of greens, lots of good fats, nuts and seeds, mostly veggies, plant-based proteins. And I lost a ton of weight initially, a ton of weight, and I'm gaining it back now, and that makes me happy. But this detox probably wouldn't be doing as well if I was eating a crappy diet. But this particular detox isn't centered around my diet. My diet's already solid. I'm already taking a lot of supplements to reduce inflammation in my system and to kind of balance my body out. But I'm not doing a specific colon cleanse. I'm not doing a specific parasite cleanse. I'm not doing a specific anything else than these tinctures to kill off, to have the antimicrobial, potentially antiviral effect. And so this is my main form of detox. But I am supporting my organs of elimination. And the reason that I'm supporting my organs of elimination is because By not doing so, there can be some adverse reactions. And even by doing so, there can be some perceived adverse reactions. So what I am doing is making sure I'm drinking a ton of water. And this is something that I recommend everyone do all the time anyways, but a ton of water. My personal, again, not a doctor, this is not medical advice, this is what I find super helpful and what helps keep me feeling best and keeps my skin clear. Remember, I'd struggled with severe acne and I don't want it again. So these are things that I find help me and help my clients. So drinking a lot of water, because your urinary system is an organ of elimination. If I find that when I pee, it's not practically clear, if it's like dark or murky or kind of smelly, I know I need to drink more water. So use that as a gauge. So I'm supporting that. I'm supporting my skin because the skin is an organ of elimination. By doing Epsom salt baths and by doing my daily dry brushing. There's a video, I talk about bikini body. You can see a few tips about dry brushing. It's really, really helpful for detoxifying the skin. I'm not really doing too much masking or anything in the way of treatments right now. I typically like to, but I'm just kind of giving my face a break at the moment because this particular detox can trigger a rash, a detox rash. And so I'm just keeping things simple. And so this is another tip I want to share with you. So many people, when they see just the slightest sign of detoxification, sometimes it is a breakout of a barometer being like, oh, we're throwing off toxins, or sometimes it's a rash. People freak and they're like, oh my gosh, what can I do? What can I slather myself in? And that can just create unnecessary irritation. So right now, knowing that I'm just trying to support my body and keep it calm while I let these herbs do their thing, I'm keeping it super simple because I don't want to create any unnecessary irritation. I'm also supporting my intestinal system. And while this is an interesting topic, we'll probably talk about another day. I'm not doing anything specific in the way of taking like laxatives or things like that to really, help eliminate toxins there. But okay, so a couple things. My doctor recommended when I first met her a few months ago, in order to stimulate my body's own glutathione production. And glutathione is an amazing antioxidant that gets really depleted when we're stressed or our bodies are worn down. Glutathione is essential. And when we get older or when we get worn down, we don't make as much glutathione and our body's just sucking it up. So I'm taking lots of glutathione, but she also wanted me to stimulate my body's own glutathione production through the use of coffee enemas. And so I do those. I still do those every day since she told me. And I will say those have been pretty life-changing, and we'll chat about that another time. But doing that, and that has been super helpful to me and overall feeling way better, and the clarity of my skin, I might add. So I do that. And then I just started this week taking activated charcoal. Activated charcoal is really helpful. It's almost has like a magnetism, a magnetic quality for toxins to bind to it. So then they can be excreted through the body. And being that I just started the LDM 100, which is the main detox product that I'm on, I know that my body's going to have a lot of impurities it's going to want to get rid of. And so I started taking 2 activated charcoal pills before I go to bed each night. And the difference in how I eliminate in the morning has been pretty interesting, in that I can tell a lot of bad stuff is getting out of me. So I like using activated charcoal. I love using it in the skin. I have my Purifying Activated Charcoal Mask. It's one of my #1 masks for anyone who's struggling with problematic skin. If you have been looking for a really good facial mask, hit me up in the comments below, or at healthyskinandbeauty.com. You can send me a message on the contact page. The activated charcoal mask is amazing for helping with breakouts. So charcoal's been really good. So I added that in. I want to tell you a little bit about some of the perceived negative side effects that are just part of detoxing. And it's not something to be afraid of, and it's not something to keep you from detoxing if you feel like you need to. If you're feeling sluggish or bogged down, or your body is not working well, or if all of a sudden your body starts just like attacking itself and you need a fix and you decide that a detox needs to be part of that, medically guided, I would advise. It's usually best to have advice in that regard. Work with your doctor on that. But you can get smelly. So that's something that I noticed this week, is I did not smell like myself. Now, normally, I don't really smell like anything. I don't really normally have to wear deodorant, probably because I work so hard at keeping my internal well-being as healthy as I can. I drink a lot of water. I don't typically let toxins build up in my system. I use like a natural mineral deodorant sometimes, but I don't really have like a smell. But since I've been taking this stuff, I'm kind of like, I think I smell myself. And, I've asked, and people are like, no, I don't smell you, but I'm aware of it. And being, again, that our skin is an organ of elimination, when we have stinky sweat, or stinky feet, or we just don't smell quite right, it is a sign that there's something in our body that probably is a little out of balance. And so I know that, being that I'm detoxing, having a bit of an odor is not a problem. I just shower a little more, use a little more deodorant, no big deal. So that, I did get a little bit of a fever. And so some people, when they start a detox of any sort, may feel like they're coming down with the flu, or they may feel like they're getting sick. And they're like, oh, I gotta stop, this is making me sick. And there's something called a Herxheimer reaction, where basically it's almost like your body is kind of throwing off impurities, stirring things up, and it can trigger your body's natural responses. And our natural response to something that our body perceives as bad is to get a little bit of inflammation, or is to get a little bit of a fever, because it's trying to fight something off. And it only lasted for a couple of hours. It wasn't a big deal. But I see a lot of people give up on things because they think, oh, it's making me sick. And that's not really. It's just kind of working its way out. Now, if you had a long lingering fever and were puking your brains out and it went on for days and days, you probably would want to talk to your doctor about it. But knowing that we're trying to get stuff out of the body that might have been dormant, these reactions can come up. And if you're feeling pain, or if you're feeling headaches, or if you're constipated, or if you're feeling like something's just not right in your body, drink more water, take more fiber. You want to just get things out. Just get it moving, get it out. And then you'll start feeling a whole lot better. So that's what I did. I got extra rest. I got more sleep. And then I felt so much better the next day. Something else, I have no idea if it's related to any of these herbs or not, but my body's pretty sensitive to things, and so it could be, is my period. So it came early. So that wasn't suspected, but typically I feel like everything is connected, mentally, physically, all of our organ systems, and I feel like everything is connected. So I feel like if I'm working on one aspect of my health, it could be affecting another aspect of my health. So my period came early, but I wasn't expecting it. So I wasn't cranky, I wasn't emotional, I didn't get bloaty. Just surprise, there it is. So it wasn't bad at all. It'll be interesting to see, because I'm doing this detox for 3 months. It'll be interesting to see how each cycle goes. But it's been a really easy period, and it just came a little bit unexpectedly. So that could be that. So these are some things that you may wonder, like, oh, what am I in for? That's kind of, those are some of the basic things that I've noticed. Fluctuation in temperature can seem a little scary. Personally, whenever I do any type of detox that involves juice cleansing, because of how, when I detox, anytime I detox, my body temperature goes up and down. It fluctuates a lot. when if I ever do like a lot of just green smoothies or juice cleanses, I found personally I cannot do them effectively when it's cold in the winter, because I tend to get very cold and I get very emotional when I do a cooling cleanse like that. Something that causes my body to cool when I'm cold. I feel like those type of detoxes, I'm releasing a lot of emotions, and I become very uncomfortable. So those type of detoxes, I'm highly, highly aware of my body temperature fluctuations. Usually when I do herbal cleanses or, give my body herbal support, I don't feel a whole lot. So I'll keep you posted on if I feel like I'm getting any more fevers or anything, but it's like 185 degrees here in Arizona right now, so it could just be that. But I have a feeling it was probably my body just kind of balancing out a bit. So now I want to talk about the main reaction, the main thing that a lot of people I think are concerned about if they investigate the LDM 100 from Barlow Herbs or Barlow Herbal or Lomatium root. That is a main plant, the main thing that is part of this detox, Lomatium. And apparently in less than 10% of the people who take it, there can be a rash that you get, a one-time detox rash. And I've gotten rashes so many times, I figured, well, of course I'll get one. And in the last video, I talked about the rash that I got. And I thought, oh boy, it's gonna come, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be a big deal. It was so not a big deal. And it may still come, but I want to show you some pictures. So I initially started getting the rash on, I started getting it like halfway through my first week. Oh, so it shows like a first week of just like the main stuff. So I was just taking Fafia, just taking Genloba, and then the Immunity Boost, which has a very, very weak version of the Lomatium to kind of prevent the detox rash. I was just taking that, and it was the weekend that I started getting a rash. And so how it started, so it's my back right here, this picture. How it started was this. I woke up to this rash. I don't know if you can see it with my light here, on my back. And it was a little bit red, and then just down here, a little bit like blistery. Looked like little blister bumps, which wasn't fun. It was super itchy, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. It's going to be my whole body. But it stayed contained, just right there, just on this little strip. So I had that for a couple of days. And then I also had a patch on my right hip. And so there was a patch right there, lots of little bumps. That's like my right hip, upper thigh. Super, super itchy, super itchy. And I was waiting, and I was waiting, and I was waiting for it to spread, but it didn't. A few days after the bumps, this is my back again. It almost looked like I had little hickey marks. They were completely flat. I hadn't scratched them, but I woke up one morning and it was just like little hickey, like little red dots all over. And then that took a few days to go away. And so that wasn't that big of a deal. And then it's been like 10 days since, and my right hip, that's all gone, but it's a little bit purple where that red rash was. And I did scratch it a lot. I never broke the skin. I tried to keep it, cool and calm, but I did scratch it. And so now that area is a little purple. So I want to share this about rashes since I've had so many. So many people think they need to like slather stuff on, and well, there are things you can put on like aloe, colloidal oatmeal. I use my hydration serum, which is basically just hyaluronic acid. I have found that leaving things alone tends to work the best. And while I was talking about this with somebody the other day in my office, they're like, why don't you just get some sun on it, dry it out, and make it go away? And this is a very important point that I feel you need to know if you ever get a rash or if you ever should get breakouts. A lot of people think that drying it out with the sun will help it heal. Interestingly, it may dry it up, but then you're left with something called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which means you've had inflammation. The UV rays create more inflammation. then you have this discoloration left behind afterwards. And it's usually either a purple or a brown. And it's harder to fade than if you would have just left it alone to begin with. So I obviously don't get a lot of sun anymore. I'm really particular about my skin. Skin cancer runs in my family. I've learned that I have, the genes for melanoma, so I'm very careful about the sun. I get my vitamin D orally, and I don't want the aging process to come on at warp speed. So while I was a tanning addict as a kid, I no longer tan now. So I did not let my hip see the light of day, and it's healing. But I want you to know that if you get a pimple, if you get a rash, if you get something on your skin that is caused by something inflammatory, and then there's a mark left behind, it's called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. It is normal. It happens. It goes away. But if you mess too much with things, you can create more irritation. So just let it be. I'll give you an update on how that's going and how that fades. But that is the only thing that I see, just a little purple patch on the upper part of where I had that rash. And it's been like not even 2 weeks, so I'm sure it'll fade. Not a big deal. So in a nutshell, feeling a lot better, having a handful of signs of like, my body's detoxing, and I'm really excited to keep going because I think that so far so good. I was doing this video because I had to make my morning detox drink, and I wanted to show you how it goes. So I've already put the immunity boost, the Fafia, the Jinloba. I put my appropriate drops in this glass. You never mix your herbs with a metal spoon because that can mess with them. So now I want to show you, though, I put in 30 drops, or basically half a dropper full of the LDM 100, so the new one. I don't know if it's going to show, but it turns at this like really funky, like milky color, which is kind of cool. It tastes super herbally, but I'm not drinking it for taste. I'm drinking it for benefit. So that's kind of interesting. And I do this 3 times a day. Super simple. I put my drops in the water, drink it. I wait 2 hours before I eat again, and can't wait to see how it helps. So if you have any questions about your skin, if you have any questions about detoxing, if you have any questions about feeling better, just feeling so brushed aside by the medical community, feeling lousy and not knowing what to do about it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I've been there. I can help. Just say, hey, you're not alone. Leave a comment below. Send me a message at support@briannathomas.com. Reach out if you need help. So I make videos about things that I don't sell. Like I don't sell the detox. I don't sell detox advice. I do help people with their skin, and I do sell skincare products. So if you need my help with those things, come find me. I'll tell you how you can get my support there. But if you are feeling like your internal well-being is showing externally and you're needing help with that, stay tuned, because I've got a lot to share about what to eat, what to drink, how to live a more healthy life, because you're really feeling best is what matters most. I truly feel like there's enough people out there talking about how to be pretty, but we're not here just to be pretty. And if we do not feel good, we cannot present our best self to the world. I know I've been hiding. I've been very much in I don't want to be visible mode because I have felt like absolute trash. And now that I'm feeling a little bit better again, I'm really excited because I have so much to share. So let me know what you need help with. Let me know, and I'll make a video, and maybe it'll be shorter than this one because I like to talk. Thanks again for watching. If you made it this far, let me know how I can help you. Have a great day. We'll chat soon.